What's up, my Metaverse family? So today I want to talk about a really cool concept, and it might blow some of your minds, and for others of you, you're going to be like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. So that topic that we're going to be talking about today is how gaming is going to be changing because of real player ownership, because of NFTs. And if that doesn't really make any sense to you, then you're not really following the evolution of gaming. So what is happening right now is gaming is going onto the blockchain. And what that means is that items can have both limited quantity, but then also items can have real ownership, which means that if you own an item in a game that is an NFT, which stands for non-fungible token, doesn't really matter, you just really own it, you can take it into another game. So the point of this video is just gonna be to show you that because we're getting real player ownership for the first time, we're gonna be blurring IPs together and starting to form a new metaverse where one company's IP and another company's IP and another company's IP, because they're all actually owned by real players, can all be brought into the same game. And we start to have that Ready Player One metaverse experience where you have tons of culture and tons of different people's creations all together in a single world. So if this sounds like a good topic that is exciting to you, remember to leave a big thumbs up on this video, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and let's get into it.
On-chain gaming.
You might be thinking, okay, what is really the big deal? What do you mean you're really gonna be able to own something? And that is where blockchain makes a big difference to gaming, because there is now a digital currency and a digital security that can exist that never existed before. For example, let's look at League of Legends and League of Legends skins. These exist entirely on Riot Games servers, and there is no way for you to take a League of Legends skin off of the Riot Games server and then put it into another game. Like, yeah, you could maybe try to steal the artwork and program it into your game or something like that, but it's not actually moving the ownership from Riot Games, from League of Legends onto your own wallet, actually having it yourself, to the point where then you could try to use it in another game. But the blockchain is changing all of that, because just like it is enabling currencies like Bitcoin, currencies that have no centralized control and also a max supply, this thing is revolutionary, because now no one controls it. Everyone who's a part of the network together kind of makes it a reality and keeps it running. So Ethereum is the new version of Bitcoin, where it's not even trying to accomplish any of the same things. It's trying to do new things that Bitcoin wasn't made for. For example, smart contracts, programmable money. And smart contracts and programmable money, that might not really mean anything tangible to you when you first hear it, but in reality, it's gonna simplify a lot of things. For example, if home ownership were done on Ethereum, then there could be a smart contract where the owner of the house, the house deed, could be an NFT, and the buyer could just have money, and the NFT could be put into a smart contract that says if this much money is deposited, the ownership shifts to the depositor. And all of a sudden, you don't need middleman anymore. You don't need a brokerage. You can just literally interact trustlessly, because it's a smart contract that's gonna do what it was programmed to do, and you can buy a house from someone else seamlessly, and then you truly own it. And this technology is being used in video games, so that if you buy a sword in Mirandus, for example, that's an NFT, you mint it onto the blockchain, and then if you want, you could take that sword to your wallet, take it out of the game, you link up your wallet to a different game, and then have that NFT then in your new game wallet. And as long as that game creator decides to program it into a thing that you could see in their game, then all of a sudden you now have this sword from one game that can be brought into another game and used. And this is gonna open up a whole new world that we really even haven't been thinking about that much. I've thought about it a little bit in the creation of this video concept, trying to figure out, okay, what exactly do I want to say? And it was also spurred on a little bit by the whole Ready Player One concept, where you have all of these incredible IPs from the 80s and 90s and 2000s all thrown into this same world. But it's like, how could that actually work? How could that work unless someone actually buys all of these IPs, which would be incredibly expensive to put into a game? But if true players actually own these things, and because they truly own them, can take them out of a game and have them in their own wallet, or then go try and use them in another game, and how games might try to incentivize players to try out their game by giving utility to the NFTs that they already own in this new game, then this is really what's going to start spurring the kind of collage of the metaverse all coming together, and you having utility and usability of an NFT from one game in 10 or 11 or 12 or however many other games want to give that NFT utility. So all of a sudden, I think we're gonna start to get into this new world. And obviously there's still gonna be some like questions of like rights and stuff like that. But what I've been hearing from companies like Sky Mavis, who created Axie Infinity, or companies like Gala Games, and listening to Eric Schurmeyer, who is the CEO of that company, these creators of this new decentralized blockchain gaming world seem to actually embrace and love the idea that their NFTs can be used across multiple games. And that because a player really owns something, as long as that player really owns it, they can use it in another game. There's no reason why programmers can't program utility of their NFT into another game as well, because the NFT still had to come from this game, and the player still had to really buy it and must really own it for it to come alive in a different game. It's like all of a sudden more real life, because you have real ownership, real property. And that is just so cool. So just like when you go and play with your friends, like as a kid, I would go play with my friends, and maybe like you're bringing together Hot Wheels and Transformers and G.I. Joe and Lego, and you're creating this collage, this massive world of imagination that is using all of these different IPs. Why are you able to do that in the real world? Well, because you bought and you actually own all of these things in the real world. And all of a sudden, that is exactly how video game worlds are gonna be, because you actually own these things in video game worlds, which is so cool. But even beyond the video game worlds, the structure that enables it all, the blockchain, is where the ownership really lies. So even if, for example, you got an account banned or something, and all of a sudden you can't enter the metaverse, well, all those NFTs you still own, they can't be taken away from you. They still exist on your wallet. So you have an ownership on a completely different level that League of Legends never even aspired to. And that is what is going to allow you to come together with your friends, all with your different NFTs from all these different IPs, and they can all coexist in the same universe. So I don't know, this is just an idea that I've been playing around with, and I'm curious to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think this means for the future of these metaverses, for the future of these worlds? Like, can you buy a Mandalorian, or can you buy like a Star Wars lightsaber NFT or something from those who really own the IP, but they're selling you the NFT, they're giving you real ownership of that weapon, and then take it and go to a completely different world? Like, imagine you could pull out a lightsaber in the world of Mirandus or something like that. And the creators of these metaverses, the creators of these game worlds, they're still going to have the final say on what they decide to program to exist in their world. So, for example, if Gala Games wanted to allow you to take your Axies into Mirandus and let them be pets for you, like, they could totally easily do that, but they have to decide to do that. So if Michael McCarthy says, yeah, Axies are not something that we want in this world, then they could make it so that you take that NFT, you have it in your Mirandus wallet, but it doesn't exist as anything in the world. So there still has to be some amount of collaboration here. So my question for you guys, and I want to hear this in the comments, how soon do you think it will be before we truly have this Ready Player One, these Ready Player One type metaverses where like everything is programmed into the metaverse? And do you think that possibly the only way for this to happen is for these worlds to be created in like an open source way, where like there's going to be some kind of open source world that has like some fun core gameplay mechanics, but then anyone can access the developmental side of it and develop new things into the world. And then in this open source world, because anyone can take their NFT and say, hey, I want to be able to use my NFT in this, and then program utility for their NFT into that world, is it going to have to be a world like that where we really start to get this merge of everything together into one place where you can see, I don't know, iRobot and like Back to the Future and Star Wars and Avatar and like all of these cool IPs all into a single place where, because it's decentralized, there's nobody to sue, right? And because players really own this stuff and brought it into the world themselves, like there's nothing to take from anyone. People actually own what they're using. How long do you think it's gonna be before we really start seeing this idea that I'm expressing in this video truly come to reality, where IPs start blurring, game worlds start coming together, and you get to be a Witcher in the Star Wars galaxy or something like that, which I think would just be so cool. Yeah, how long do you think it's gonna be? And is this concept, do you think it's gonna be a reality in our lifetimes, or do you think it's gonna take a little bit longer? I mean, I'm pretty bullish on this. I think that within 10 years, we'll probably start seeing a significant amount of this, because once one company does it, when a single company successfully pulls this off, where they say, hey, Axie Infinity has millions of daily players, let's let people use their Axies in our game. And then because of that, a ton of Axie players try out this game because they love that they can use their Axies in this brand new gaming world, and that's a proven success, and that like creates the success of this new metaverse. Like a game takes off because they decided to program another game's NFTs into their world. Like, I think once that happens once successfully, a bunch of people are gonna start doing it. Like a bunch of these different decentralized gaming companies, and there's a bunch of them that are coming up. Like Star Atlas, it has a DAO. Eventually the players are truly gonna own the entire galaxy. Illuvium, it has a DAO, which by the way stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. It's just a fancy way of saying the players own and decide what happens. Axie Infinity, DAO controlled. So a lot of these games are going with this truly player owned and controlled world. And because of that, we might not even need this open source thing, because maybe just the players tell the developers, hey, we want this, we want that, we want that. And this is what the DAO funds the developers to do. I don't know. I think that once the first domino falls and people see how successful this could make your game, when you let people that own assets in other games use their assets in your game, then a lot of these companies are gonna start doing this, and we're really gonna start to see this merge of different IPs across different galaxies, where you truly can take your favorite sword from one game to the next game to the next game. And one really interesting thing about this is your NFT is not gonna show itself the same way in each metaverse. Like your NFT is gonna show itself differently based on how a game developer decided to code it into your game. So in Axie Infinity, your Axies are these battle pets, and the body parts determine the cards that you have to play. But maybe in a different game, your Axies are just pets that follow you around and like maybe pick up loot for you or something. And the parts that your Axies have might show themselves completely differently. And it might be really, really cool to see how your same NFT shows itself differently based on the world that you're going into. And yeah, this is just such a cool concept. I could continue talking about it for much longer than this, but I should probably not make this video too long. So if you guys enjoyed me talking about this concept, if you think it's a cool concept, and maybe even you want to hear more about it, or you're excited to participate in your DAO and tell whatever game you're most excited for, hey, start using NFTs from other games as well. then yeah, do that. But also, if you enjoyed this video, leave a big thumbs up so that more people hear about this idea. It's not a new concept. I didn't come up with it. I'm 100% certain of that. But I think people just hearing about this concept and how cool of an idea it is gonna grow the idea in popularity. And by leaving thumbs up, you share this video with more people through the algorithm, because the algorithm recommends it to more people when they see that the people who are watching it enjoyed it. And yeah, we can start to grow this idea's popularity and really start to make it a reality. And then if you're just excited about the future of play-to-earn gaming, then remember to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell, and you will not miss future on-chain gaming content. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm very excited about the future of the metaverse. I'm very excited about play to earn. I'm very excited about true player ownership. I think that this is a revolution that's happening in virtual worlds, and I'm gonna be here on the forefront talking about it on the daily. So make sure you're subscribed for more content. And then I'll end by saying thank you to our incredible Patreon supporters. You guys are enabling us to make this content. I'm not making these videos by myself. My brother Nate edits all these videos. Josh, our friend, does the original sound production, original intro music, original outro music, and he also runs the fish tank. You can see we have some glow-in-the-dark fish here. But yeah, we all appreciate your support, and we could not do it without our incredible Patreon supporters. So thank you guys so much for your support. And until next time, everyone, have fun roaming the metaverse.